Hey, I'm Cesar de la Cruz with the Tolleson-Mack podcast. Today we have some legends from the North Country. We have Curtis Cassidy, Tanner Milan here. Thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
It's awesome to get to talk to some legends. We were talking about a little bit for people that don't know. Could you you're Canadian world champ steer wrestling, correct? And then
I've 12 Canadian championships total, but 2 of them steer wrestling, 1 calf roping, and then 9 high point, which is all around now. So they did finally change it in Canada to the all around. So them guys like Logan Spady this year's a new all around champion of Canada, which was pretty cool that they finally changed that. Took a long time, but they finally did.
Yeah. And I've just seen it. I haven't got to compete at the Canadian finals, but it's like a little mini NFR arena. It kind of gets the guys coming from the Canadian finals over here and kind of prepared for what they're fixing to see over here in Vegas. You've had several very nice horses, bulldogging horses. We can kind of go into the calf rope a little bit too, but talk to you. I've seen some of the bays you've had are just some amazing type athlete horses.
Yeah, I mean, Willie back in the day, we used him at 10 straight NFRs from 2001 to 2010, and they won 4 average titles, 4 world championships on him, and then several other guys won a lot of money on him. He only won Horse of the Year one time because he was kind of older when I started bringing him to the NFR. I think the last year we used him at the NFR, he's like 24 years old, but yeah, so I didn't haul his legs off him in his later years, and probably if I'd have hauled him a little more, mounted a few more guys, he might have won Horse of the Year more, but he nonetheless, when got him to Tolleson-Mack, everybody knew who he was for sure.
Absolutely. Tanner, did you ever get to ride him?
Yeah, I rode him lots. He was an easy horse. I mean, anybody could get on him, and he was fun to ride.
I'm telling you, like, the start for them horses is crucial, right? Especially at this little building where they want to run. You have to be right behind them. You got to bang go kind of a deal. Talk to us. You got a horse at the finals this year, right, Tanner?
Yeah, I do. I got Dalton Massey and Stephen Cullen riding him, and yeah, he's been good so far.
Gates bang, he goes, right? Like he's ready for it.
Yeah,
that's so important. And then Curtis, talk about that a little bit too. With the being in this building right here, with the horsepower, talk about that a little bit.
Well, the start's crucial, just like you're saying, but it equally as important as the start because the bullar's leaving before the hazer. So a lot of nights, them steer-wrestling horses got to cow really good and fast, and they got to take that quick step to the right to them steers, and it really shows up here, the horses that don't cow as good as they should, and because you're literally beating the hazer out by a stride, so the steers are going to be straight up the middle, if not a tick off to the right half the time. And yes, if you got a horse that'll take that quick step to the right and put you behind the horns, it's super important here.
What do you think, Tanner? Same thing?
Oh, yeah, it's big time. Like Kurt said, it's a thankless job over there on the hazing side, and it hasn't been fun.
I know, man. I tell you what, there's a couple steers that really want it. That first step is way to the right, and for a hazer, when you see that right there, like, I mean, there's you really got to get up there and really try to maybe change his lead because he's breaking off in his right lead. You're gonna have to pick him up and maybe put him in his left lead to help the bulldogger, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So
yeah, that's like you said, a very thankless job over there.
Yeah.
And does the hazer make any money for hazing? Like, say you got a horse entered over here. You got some guys riding it.
Yeah, like
what's the mount money look like for that, and do you get paid?
For the team of horses, whatever the bulldogger wins, you get 25% of that. Okay. If you got someone just getting on your haze horse, you'll pay him a 16th, and then yeah, if it's one guy's bulldogging horse, another guy's hazing horse, they split the 25%.
Like it's pretty important to have that hazing horse, right? I mean, you have a good bulldogging horse, and you can make money on him mounting people out, but how important is that hazing horse?
It's super important, but it's even more important when you come to this place because, like I said, it's not like anywhere else you ever go. Like I said, the bulldogger's literally a stride ahead of you when you leave the corner, so you need to have the baddest son of a bitch you can find on the hazing side.
Yeah, and just score like a rock. You've seen a couple of the horses last couple nights. You know, even the hazing horse gets a little bit feisty in there. You know, kind of wants out because it's fast.
Yeah, you're they say it takes like 3/4 of a second or 2/3 of a second to process a thought. So that bulldogger nods, and you're looking for any movement over there. And when they nod, you're on go, just punching as hard as you can go. So, yeah, them Hayes horses, they get on the muscle and they get anticipating that start.
That's something to it. So talk to us a little bit about the steers, Tanner. This year's NFR.
They've been tougher steers. I've thought this year. Been a lot of misses. Yeah. Quite a few barriers, and I don't know why or what, but yeah, they've been strong set of steers this year for just as a consistent herd, and they're all a little different.
Yeah. You said you made the finals your last year, 2017, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, it's games changed just a little bit. I hadn't made it since 2014, but talk to us a little bit about like the steers back then. I feel like when last time I made the finals, steers were huge. They're dang near 550 weights, big old solid suckers, and they're a little shorter. They're still pretty stout, but they're a little shorter this year, and just the evolution of the game a little bit. I know back then you guys bulldogs some monsters. They used to bring some big ones.
I think it depends on the year too. Some years they might be smaller, faster handling cattle, and then some years they might be just big old solid cattle too. You never, it basically all depends on what size they are when they buy them, how they're going to be.
Yeah, the market's kind of tough this year. It's kind of
expensive.
Yeah, $900 to $1,000 for a good M brand steer.
Nowadays. That's probably just to get them to Arizona.
That's friendly. That's friendly right there too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. We talked about a little bit. What do you do up in the North Country? You say you do a little farming, a little ranching.
Yeah, a little. I mean, we don't farm very much. Just put up hay, feed cattle. But I got some calves in the feedlot right now that I bought last fall. I guess I broke my arm at Strathmore August 1st, so I was at home with nothing to do. So I bought some cattle, so I had something to do. And and then we got a guiding outfit business on top of that. So that when I was not guiding and outfitting, looking after the cattle was easy, but trying to juggle getting horses ready for CFR, NFR, which Shannon damn sure took care of most of that. But that and trying to guide and outfit, and there was lots of stuff going on.
What do y'all hunt up there? Like a lot of mule deer, what are you guiding up there?
Sheep hunts in the mountains, and got moose hunts in the mountains as well. Up there right along the BC border, and then whitetail mule deer and moose at home.
Yeah, Curtis is a real mountain man. Sure, man.
I was gonna say my brother's the real mountain man, but I just like to tag along and take
awesome.
It all in.
That's awesome. And moose, like being from the desert in Arizona, you see them on TV, but I finally got a glimpse of one. They said that wasn't even that big. When I went up there a few years back, I went to go rodeo in Canada. We got a glimpse of them. They're the size of a dang horse or bigger, maybe. You know what I mean? They got big old heads on ugly looking things.
They're huge, and the prairie moose we have at home are big. They're like the size of a quarter horse, probably, that 1,000, 1,200 pounds. But the moose in the mountains up there, they're that much bigger. They're like, I don't know, 1,300, 1,400 pounds. Like it's a huge undertaking when you kill one.
How much meat do you get off of one after you clean them?
After you completely debone them and everything, there's usually about 300 pounds of meat. So we try to, ideally, you want to have about 3 pack horses for one moose. So if you're going in there moose hunting, you need minimum 10, 12 horses.
Tanner, what do you do up in the North Country? Do you ever go hunting and do all that stuff?
I used to hunt quite a bit, but I kind of got away from it now. And but I work in the movie business up home when I'm not rodeoing and stuff. So
talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's movies are really big up there in Canada, and shoot lots of westerns. And so yeah, I kind of do the wrangling end of it. Lots to do with the horses sometimes, and then I also work in the transportation part of it, where I'll drive some camera trucks and star trailers and stuff like that. And it's a pretty cool industry, and there's lots of old cowboys that work there. So
good stories, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. What you've been pretty competitive as of late, or you've been working some horses, and I know you got a really good dog and horse right now. A lot of guys been wanting them out on.
Yeah. No, same thing. I tore my pec this summer, and I started out really good. I was having lots of success there in Canada, and
say Tanner, Tanner kicked ass all spring in Canada. Won about 25,000 before the season even started.
So yeah, it was really good, and then unfortunately tore my pec. But yeah, and then the horse kept going all summer, and just kind of sent him out there, and the boys did good with him.
That's perfect. That, like I said, you had an injury, and you have a great team of horses, and that allowed you to at least make a living.
Yeah,
you know, kind of keep them going. Are you able to this new year? You're gonna be able to go back out there?
Yeah, I'm planning on probably April. I think I'm not gonna be qualified for none of the winter rodeos and stuff, so I'm just gonna crack out in the spring here and hopefully get back on track.
Yeah, perfect. What's your plan?
Shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
I bought my grandpa's place earlier this fall as well, so I've been trying to fix stuff up around there because it was kind of run down a little bit, but it's a really nice place, and so I'm kind of trying to fix stuff up around there. And to be honest, now that I broke my wrist and I was actually home for a few months, it's kind of nice being home.
You spent some time in Arizona, right? When you're down south.
Yeah, Shannon's been in Arizona since about the 15th of November, and we usually stay till about the 1st of May and then head home, kind of when them rodeos start up in Alberta.
Guys that get a little, been in the North Country and been frozen a few times, they really like Arizona in the winter.
Arizona's really hard to beat.
Do you get to go down to Arizona some?
Yeah, Curtis has got his place there, and we kind of, once the rodeos in Texas get done and we're headed out to California, we get to stop in there and have some fun.
That's awesome. Like they didn't have very many bulldogs and stuff, but now you guys are starting to make your way to Arizona. I feel they're going to start seeing more of them. Been in talks with some of them guys, putting on a few more amateur rodeos or just even weekly rodeos just to have something to go to and have you guys stay busy out there. There's so many team ropings to go to. You guys ever dabble in team roping a little bit? I know, Kurt, you do a little bit.
I was going to say, I've team roped some, but I was going to say Tanner's probably roped more than I have.
Nice.
Yeah, growing up, high school and everything like that, roped a bunch and stuff, and through the amateur rodeos and all that, but then it just got tough, and expensive doing multiple events and needing to have that many horses and stuff, and so I just mostly focused on steer wrestling, but yeah, damn sure enjoy roping, and probably going to be a good retirement plan.
For sure, especially you get to visit Arizona. You're gonna be just fine.
That's right. I tell everybody I'm a recreational team roper. If it doesn't involve beer drinking and the entry fees are more than $25, I'm not interested.
It's like golfing, right? You know what I mean? You're doing it for the enjoyment side of it.
Exactly.
You've competed at the highest level for a long time. Now you're just going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, team roping's a kind of a version of golf. There's a lot of similarities if you kind of look at it. I know we're on the dirt and, golfing's on the grass, but swing and temperament, what I mean? If you're laid back, it's usually do better in the team roping. If you're kind of a hard ass and get pissed off, you don't do very good in the team roping. You don't get nobody to rope with you either.
That's right.
Welcome back to the Tolleson-Mack podcast. We filled up our cups and got some more water. We got Benny Mosley back on here for the second half.
Everybody.
Hello. Benny's a friend of many and a friend of a lot of the bulldoggers out in the rodeo circle. Benny, what do you know about these guys? Talking to Mike a little bit.
Here's some good guys. Like Curtis, first time I came to the final, well, one of the first times I come to the finals, I had horses right next to his, and he was just like, man, what are you going to be doing every day this week? And he said, you mind feeding this horse of mine in the mornings? He said, I'll take care of you. And I said, yeah, sure, I will. And we've been cool ever since.
It's about 2 years later before I paid you, though, I think.
No, it was all good. I wasn't even worried about it.
Beer stand in Rapid City.
Yeah. It was all good. And then Tanner, we go back. We're good buds. I met him, what has it been, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, it's been, at least that probably.
Yeah.
So,
come to Canada, needed a little help, and I got sent to him, and he took care of me.
That's what it's all about, friends.
Yeah, friendship.
Friends north of the border, you got to have them up there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, you go to the rodeos in Canada.
These guys are great at what they do.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, they're real good.
I just seen the other day that Ponoka's adding 60,000 this year's rodeo, so I'm assuming there's going to be a few more Americans coming up.
I'm telling you, it's one of my favorite rodeos. I'm kind of a Pendleton kind of guy myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that set up the whole camping out over there. And
on
The
dirt,
arena's set
not
up.
grass.
I finally got a dose of that rodeo this year and got that first round. I'm going back for that 60. I promise you.
That would
Well,
be
it's
fun.
got 120 in the team roping, so
Yeah.
they added double money there too. That's a
Didn't you mention you dabble in team roping a little bit?
little bit.
Yeah, we talked about it last.
Yeah.
That's his
All around.
retirement plan. You know,
Yeah.
it's his retirement.
Might as well start early with a bang.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they pay $300,000 over here, just right up the road. Seems like every roping now
yeah.
from the 11 on down. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
it's wild where the games come. We were talking about a little while ago. I showed you a really funny TikTok video of Kai Hamilton in his interview he had, and for the listeners out there in this episode that hadn't seen it, Kai Hamilton got, he met, I guess the bull hit his chest, knocked him out. It looked awful. It looked like it was horrible. They hauled him out there, the stretcher and everything. And the next night he comes back and has an eliminator pin and has a bucker, a real bucker.
114,000
And he
nice.
spurred him and
Yeah.
won 114,000. And gentleman interviewed him, asked him how he did it. And he says, "Not being a pussy. That's it.
Just that
tough."
simple.
And he's been hanging out a lot with JB Mooney a little bit. You can see that right there. You know, that attitude, that cowboy mentality. And, you mentioned, hey, if you want a bulldog, you're going to have that same mentality. Like,
Oh,
them good runs you guys make, it looks like it hurts. It looks like you hit the back of your head. And
I am. I'm not doing it.
yeah, it looks like it hurts every
You can
time
say
you
what
make
you
a good
want, I'm
run.
not
And
doing
if
it.
you want to
I'm
win
not
money,
doing
it's
it.
going to hurt a little bit, right? You know what I mean? So talk to us a little bit about, we'll go with you first, Kurt, and we'll go to Tanner next. But talk to about having that grit, that cowboy.
well, that's, 100%. Every night, whether it's Dakota or Jesse or Tanner, Dalton, whoever I'm talking to, or Steven, like any of them, I'm like, it's, especially this place, it's all about aggression.
Yeah.
Like your start, your riding, your head catch, throwing them. It don't take much to get jacked up around this place to have some aggression. But yeah, steer wrestling's all about aggression and
Right.
and not being a pussy.
100%. I mean, you're going 30 miles an hour on some horses that are flying and just catching the steer that hurts. You know what I'm saying? At that speed. And then when you guys lay him down, a heck of a run with the steer, you know, his tail hits the ground like a bullwhip, you know, like that's it. Got to make you a little sore because the first thing that hits the back of your head a lot of times.
Yeah, back your shoulder blades, all that stuff, especially if the ground's hard. But there ain't a better feeling when you rip on one of the saddle and you get that nose and you can just feel that ass come by and that tail whip and them hitting the ground. It's a awesome feeling.
They call out 3 at the National Finals Rodeo. I'm sure it's a great,
Yeah.
great, right?
What's the feeling when everybody hollers, "You're out"? It's so aggressive.
Mm.
It is so aggressive. What's
a
that
great
feeling?
feeling,
Yeah.
too.
What's that feeling right there?
Talk to us a little bit about it, Tanner.
Yeah, same thing. It's tough, and you got to be tough to do it. And there's lots of bumps and bruises, and it's just you got to bear the hell down and be tough about it. So
A lot of you guys from North Country, we talked to you guys. What'd you guys do for when you guys were kids? And we played hockey. You know what I mean, we knocked the shit out of each other all the time. You know what I mean? Beat each other up. You know, that's how we got so tough in this bulldog. And then to me, I really like the Bulldoggers because y'all are a great group of guys, especially when you guys get in a rig together. You got 4 or 5 guys get in, always helping out, and kind of it's funny. You see some calf ropers that they need a bigger rig, and you see a team of grown ass men, 5 Bulldoggers getting a littler, smaller rig, and they're just as happy. You know what I mean? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, the camaraderie in the steer wrestling's really good, and it's even you got a group of guys you're traveling with, but I mean we're all buddies and all get along and help each other out. Like, you know, our horses might be in Canada and we might be flying to San Juan and borrow them out from somebody down there. Not Luke Branquino, but somebody that has good horses.
He'll ride them. What about you, Tanner?
yeah, we all get along so damn good, and everybody helps each other. And what I really like about the bulldogging is they're not afraid to step off their horse and go push a steer, watch the horns, or kick the corner out, you know. And I've seen a lot of the other events, guys don't do that. And
No.
but yeah, it's just bulldoggers. They damn sure do it
It's more of a team sport than we think it is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like we talked about a little bit about how you're splitting up money. Sometimes you got 25%, sometimes it's an eighth. Like you guys are a family. You guys are riding horses, and you guys are helping each other get down the road and pay bills and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and it's huge. Like even Curtis this year, my Hayes horse got hurt, and I had nothing, and he just sent me one, and here you go, use them. So no questions asked. It was just the way the bulldoggers are. So
Yeah, that's what I love about you guys.
And you're getting, that's the thing about the bulldogging too, is it's not like calf roping where them guys pretty much always have their own horse. Bulldogging, you're gonna need a favor from somebody somewhere at some point to mount here, haze, push, whatever. You're gonna need something from somebody at some point. So,
Right. And like a situation like this, the national finals rodeo, you make the finals and you want to get on the very best horse. You kind of want to be the kind of guy that's got a good attitude, willing to help anybody. And shoot, a lot of them guys, if you have that attitude, they'll mount you out every time.
oh, for sure, yeah. And I was gonna say I want to touch on that a little bit because Luke Branquino was saying the other night how, yeah, when I come to the NFR, he's like the pre-show, before the rodeo starting the other day. He's like, when I come to the NFR, I always tried to ride the best horse. But I wanted to add something to that. Not everybody's Luke Branquino, and the best horses can only handle 3 or 4 runs in this place. So, yeah, there's 15 bulldoggers. Not every guy's going to be able to get on the best horse or the best couple horses,
Right.
Like, you got to try and get on the best horse that you can get on.
That
Because
fit this building too, right? You got
Yeah.
some outdoor horses that are amazing outdoor, and you got some that are really good in the indoor buildings.
Yeah, like Luke rode Willie lots here and won the world on him and everything, but he's multiple-time world champion and everything, So it was easy for him to get on the best horse. And sometimes if you're like a first-time NFR qualifier or something like that, you got to find the best horse that they'll let you on at this place.
You got to earn your ride, right? And that,
Exactly, yeah.
Is there a way for a guy that's real good bulldogger coming up? How does he get in to get in to ride these best horses?
Well, and sometimes it takes a few years of rodeoing and getting to know the guys and proving to everybody that you can do it and be at the NFR national finals, all that stuff, and earn your way up into a good group of guys, and because you're not just going to start entering rodeos and jump in with a crew of guys that's got a good horse, because that horse has already got 4 guys riding him.
I kind of want to touch on something. What does it take to actually get a good horse, a good bulldogging horse, or train one, find one? I mean, like, how does that work?
Oh, it's a
Process.
They're a freak, good bulldogging horses.
Yeah.
I mean, team roping horses, calf horses, all that. Old guys can train them, but old guys can't train bulldogging horses.
Yeah.
It's a young man's sport, and that's the other problem is young guys don't have the money to buy the quality horse flesh to start with a good product. And I think that's the hardest thing about bulldogging is there's like very few people start with a quality product when they start bulldogging, because they're usually young guys, and the young guys are the ones that got to start them, and they can't go spend 20 grand on a racehorse off the track, and start with that. That's what makes the bulldogging horses so rare.
I've had a couple bulldoggers ask if they know where any head horses, not too tall, but good head horses that score really great, but want to run by. They don't want to rate. And those kind of make pretty good bulldogging horses, correct?
Especially the ones that are like racehorse bred.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cow bred is hit and miss.
Too ratey, right?
Well, I mean, they just don't have the speed like a racehorse for the most part. They can have that quick speed, but they won't have that big speed in the field.
They need to have blow you guys past that steer pretty good, right? Shoot them feet forward a little bit more. So it's almost like they need to gain speed as they're blowing by.
And that's the tricky part, is to find them horses that naturally want to run by and not rate.
Yeah, yeah. You have a pair of horses over here, Tanner, that are really awesome. Tell the people listening, like, what does a team of horses like that cost?
I guess it's whatever you figure you can win in a year is what.
You got 4 guys on it,
Yeah.
making the NFR or whatever. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. And like that horse, I paid a lot for him at the time when I did get him, but it was a huge gamble.
Elaborate on that number by any chance for any people wanting to get invested in a bulldogging horse?
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
That's
A lot.
I want to touch on what you said about them runaway head horses that score good. If they're good in the box but a little strong in the field, they're still worth $25,000, $30,000
Yeah,
as a runaway head horse.
Yeah, well, like I said, if they're starting to be like that, you're gonna have to start to rope on the gain a little bit and kind of before they get to the steer, because once they get to the steer, it's almost like they're too strong.
Going by.
Yeah, you got to be showing them, hey, I'm going to throw this loop before you get to the steer, and that'll kind of halfway slow them down.
Yeah.
But like I said, some of them, y'all need a special type of horse. It's not like a cow bred or a cut and bred type horse that me and Benny are looking for.
Yeah.
You guys are looking more for the racy type. Is there bloodlines you're looking for?
Well, I was actually just thinking inside my head last night when I was standing there as we were getting ready to load up for the bulldogging, and I remember, because I've been around a long time, but I remember coming here back in the early days when I first started coming, 2001 with Willie. He was all race bred and off the track, appendix bred, but he was one of the few race horses, and that horse Jesse Peterson's actually come off the track too. But them two were one of the few race horses that were at the finals. And that scooter horse Jimmy Powers had, ex-race horse, but most of the horses back then were cow horses, and that's why the race horses stood out so much. And like the Willies and what was Jesse's horse, Gunner?
Gunner, I think.
They gained another speed right there, another gear whenever
it's
they're
just like
stepping down. That takes a strong horse, you know what I mean?
It's unreal the speed that race horses have.
Yeah.
And lots of them didn't even have good race careers. You know, they might only won 3,000-4,000 or 10 grand or nothing at all, you know.
Yeah,
but they're still fast for what we do in the bulldogging.
They're still getting up 30 miles an hour plus, you know what I mean? That's fast.
What I was saying is I was looking last night, and I was like Tanner's horse is racehorse bred, Tyson's racehorse bred, that baby horse that Deaver's been riding is racehorse bred off the track. Ty Erickson's horse is racehorse bred.
Right.
And like you just sit back in the stands and watch them 15 guys, and them 4 or 5 horses I just named, like they stand out.
Well, like team roping horses, right? They're bred to be a certain way, and they're really looking into the certain kind of bloodlines. They're working and matching up. Calf horses are doing that. You know, all these shows are doing it. And now I'm noticing, like you said, you spent enough time. You've been out here long enough now to know that these horses are working for the bulldogging. Like this,
for sure.
This is what's gonna in the future. That's kind of what you're gonna kind of look for. Like this kind of horse is gonna be something that we're gonna need. And then I'm sure you guys have some young guys, some young talented guys, maybe high school level, that are coming up, that you're kind of got your eye on, maybe gonna help out and kind of help them with their career, and you can kind of give them that advice about the horses.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I think every timed event at the NFR is evolving. Like the barrel race just keeps getting tougher and tougher every year, but it's just like what you're saying. They're breeding team roping horses to make team roping horses. And the same thing in the barrel racing. They used to just ride, you know, there was like 20 years ago, there's a lot of cowbred horses in the barrel racing, but now it's pretty much all straight run, and they're out of a proven winning barrel stud and a proven winning barrel mare.
Yeah.
You know, like they're breeding them specifically for that event.
Yeah, it's the game is going to evolve a lot, and I was talking to Kincaid Henry a little while ago about how Texas, you know, they have all these, you know, I mean, we didn't have the junior NFRs when we were younger. You know, that would have been pretty neat.
Yeah,
and these young kids are getting groomed for whenever they do turn 18, 19, they're able to kind of rodeo and understand the game just a little bit better.
Yeah, there's so much. Like, I couldn't even hardly find a jackpot or a junior rodeo in Canada to go to when I was young, and I always said that for years, that's what I lacked when I started calf roping at the pro level. Is I didn't have the experience that the Cody Oles, Strands, and all that did coming out of Texas, because they roped against each other all through high school and jackpots and everything. And like, I was just in my indoor arena in the wintertime practicing with myself, you know, and my dad helping me.
Pushing yourself to go fast as you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about Tanner? Did you ever rope calves or do anything like that?
I did rope calves a little bit, but it wasn't my forte.
Tanner's got a Trevor Brazil story from Oakdale, California.
Let's hear it.
Calf roping story.
Yeah, I get to Oakdale, and Kurt had been doing entering, and I'm put down in the calf roping, and I'm like,
they got a sweet all around.
Yeah,
there.
They got really good ones.
Said, you just got to do good in bulldog, and you can win the all around. And so Kurt had good calf horse stick, and I was like, well, I'm riding that son of a bitch because no one else is gonna ride or let me on. And so I go and look at the draw. I had a first run or whatever, and freaking go run this calf and caught him. I think I got a 10 something, and freaking so
You got a chance.
a little later on, freaking they do the redraw. Well, this Trevor Brazil walks up to me and he's like, "Hey, how about that calf you just run?" And yeah, he's good. I got a 10 on him. He's asking me all these questions. I'm like, I don't know.
Did he run? Did he kick? Did he straight? No, I run through him. I was 10.
So, yeah. So then he runs him. He's 7-8 on him. So I think I softened him up pretty good.
Yeah.
So then the funny thing, next day in the second round, I get a rerun the next day. So I go look at the draw and I'm going down the list, and damned if Trevor Brazil didn't just run the one.
You're about
Try
to
the same calf, but he gets a 7-9 on him. So Trevor's 7-8, 7-9, and I caught him. I got an 11.
21 on 2.
Yeah.
Short round bound.
So, dang, it was funny, but ended up doing good in the bulldogging. I think I ended up winning second in the rodeo, but Trevor pretty much 40% of the team rope and the calf rope, and then he got that all around buckle from me.
Yeah, he was bad. He was really tough to beat back then.
Yeah.
For sure.
So,
Man, well, I really appreciate it, you guys coming on. Great stories. Benny, thank you for coming on the second half.
For sure.
I usually try to end these podcasts with something kind of inspirational. We'll start with you, Kurt. Like, man, I usually say like a young guy coming up wanting to rodeo, some kind of words of inspiration, maybe lead them down the right path.
I was going to say Kai Hamilton's. That's a great place to start. What he said, but
Unbelievable, yeah.
but no, I mean, I believe in every sport, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, rodeo, and I wish a guy could keep track of it so you knew, but I believe it's a certain amount of hours that you have to put in. Obviously, you have to be talented too, but there's a certain amount of hours you got to put in to be good at a sport. And it's all about starting it when you're young and evolving. But no, I believe it's like, it might be 1,000 hours or 15, 20,000 hours. I don't know what the number is, but I believe every sport there's a amount of like runs, hours, everything that you got to put into it to be great.
10,000.
10,000, they say.
Yep.
I believe it.
You have to. There's no shortcuts. You gotta bear down, and you gotta put the time in, and that's all there is to it.
To be as successful as you did, you had to put in over maybe 100,000s of hours to get to be as good as you were in the calf rope and bulldogging. Thank you for being on. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it.
Tanner, any words of inspiration for a young man or young woman?
yeah, I mean, just give it your all. I mean, you got to be 110% in, and surround yourself with good people. To be a wolf, you got to run with the wolves, and
Iron
don't be a
sharpens
pussy.
iron.
Yeah, don't be a pussy.
100%. Thank you, Kai Hamilton, for that this
Yeah.
year, man. That was huge.
Yeah, we might have to hashtag that one.
We
Don't
needed
be,
that. We really needed that this year's NFR because right there, that's part of it.
I got a JB Mooney story though. I
Let's
can tell
hear it.
quick. I was in the sports medicine in Houston last year, and he was in there with his shirt off, and I was like, "This is $7 million bull rider right here with his shirt
Skinny in
off."
here.
A sucker had more bones and stuff sticking out of him where it shouldn't be sticking out, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Damn, JB!" I was like, "Your body looks a little rough," and he's like, "It is a little rough look," he said, "but he's like, this sucker's held up for me to last way longer than all them other guys." So he said it must be decent. And I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Real cowboy stuff. Real cowboy stuff. Benny, you got any words of inspiration today?
Just don't give up. Don't
Never.
give up on your dream.
Refuse to lose.
Yeah, refuse to lose. Don't give up. Bottom line.
Bottom line. Well, thank you guys so much. Tanner,
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Curtis, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Benny,
Yeah, I'm here
we're here.
to Saturday.
Well, thank you guys. Tolleson-Mack podcast, we're out.